Hello there, welcome again to another Autocad Lazy Command Show here in YouTube as well as on Facebook. I'm very excited today because we're gonna create an awesome command today that is gonna save you so much time. And today's live stream, as always, comes thanks to my supporters, right? People who believe in my work, either on Patreon or here as a YouTube member. So thank you to those people. I'm here right now with this live show. So thank you very much for that. So before we start today's live show, there's a couple of things that I want to mention. Um, so Of course, if you are new to the channel, my name is Irving and I usually show up each Sunday at 10 a.m. That is Pennsylvania, United States time, with a new live show right here in AutoCAD or on Facebook. So if you are interested on learning AutoCAD or on saving um, time, right, with different tools and commands, then you can show up at 10 a.m. Um, so we have 7 people connected so far. That's awesome that you guys are here with me today. Um, so I want to, there are a couple of things that I want to mention again before we start today's live stream. But of course, I wanted to say hi to you on the chat, see how you guys are doing today. Where are you connecting from, right? For instance, right now I am in Pennsylvania, the United States. However, people that already know me, I'm originally from South America, Peru. So, yeah, where are you guys connecting from? Let me know in the chat. We have 9 people connected already. That's awesome that you guys are here with me today. And of course, I'm going to read your comments. But so while you uh, start commenting on the chat, I'm going to mention a couple of things. The first one is um, that I'm very excited and happy because of this is, let me show it to you, that we are almost reaching our goal for uh, on Patreon, right? So I had this goal for people that don't know that I set this goal whenever we reach $49 per month. I'll upgrade my live stream service to professional, right? So that the StreamYard logo can be removed from the video screen and you can enjoy clean HD live streams. So we are so close with that goal that I'm very excited and happy. Thank you for people who are supporting my work. As you can see, we are $46 and the goal was 49. So that's awesome. I'm very excited to achieve that goal. So that way I could remove the StreamYard logo that you can see over here and also get HD for the live streams. But that's one thing. So thank you for that, guys. And then the second thing that I want to mention is oh, so we have so many comments already in the chat. That's awesome. We have 10 people connected so far. Um, so yeah. Oh, so yeah, the other thing is for people who don't know, this Patreon, basically my way to say thanks to those people who support my work is either by giving them the tools or commands that we create so they can simply copy, right, and paste it into AutoCAD so that way they don't waste time trying to follow along each character. So I try to make their life easier, of course, sharing dynamic blocks and so on. Basically, any material that we create on the channel, I share it with people who support my work on Patreon. Yeah, so I think those are the things that I wanted to mention. We have 11 people connected on the chat. That's awesome, guys. And let's read some of your comments before we start today's live stream. Mary is on the chat. Hi, Mary. Thank you for being here today. Um, I think you are a fan of the show because I see you each week, each weekend, each Sunday. So that's awesome, Mary. Thank you. We have William also on the chat. William says, "Good morning from San Diego." Nice, William. I'm in Pennsylvania, so yeah, thank you for being here today. Mary says, "Nice haircut." Thank you, Mary. Yeah, I mean, I had to get a haircut, but thanks for noticing. Um, Miriam says, "Hello from Cyprus." Nice, Mary. That's where you are right now. That's awesome. Um, so we have Diana also on the chat. Diana says, "Good morning. I am in Arkansas, originally from Mexico." That's awesome, Diana. I think you are um, a new fan here today because I didn't see you before but that's awesome that new people are still finding our show. So that's awesome. Thank you for being here. And with 12 people connected on the chat, I'm gonna start today's live stream. As always, you can interrupt me at any moment if you have questions or anything that you want to comment, right? Okay, so I believe we are ready to start the show. Okay. All right. So I stopped creating AutoCAD layers. Yes, I did it. How? How is that possible, right? Because layers are an important thing in AutoCAD. Well, it is because I created this tool, this command, this custom macro code that will import all of my layers already in any existing drawing. So that way I don't create any layers at all anymore. Isn't that great? So that's why I wanted to share with you this tool, this command with you today, live, right? So I call this command the lazy import layers, and that's what we're gonna create today. All right. So let's start, and we're gonna use for that the command macros palette. So the command macros palette is over here. If you don't see it on your screen, you can open it by simply using the uh, commands macros command like so, right? So once you press enter, you will see it over here on the side of your screen. So we're gonna be using this command macros palette because that's like the best um, palette, right, to use custom commands. However, for folks that don't have this palette, because this is a palette that comes with the newer versions of AutoCAD, don't worry, we're still gonna show you also how to create this command using the tool palettes. Everybody has the tool palettes, so we're gonna use also the tool palettes later on, so stay tuned for that. All right. So so we have a comment on the chat. It's Daft Doos is 100%. Thank you for being here today. So let's keep moving. All right. So let's open the command macros again. And so in order to do this, right, first we need to create a drawing, right, with our layers. So to do that, I'm gonna simply go over here and create a new drawing by clicking the create new, like so. And I'm gonna pick my template, Imperial Architecture, right? You can pick yours. This is for metric, and This is for imperial. So I'm in the United States. So that's my units. So I'm gonna open that out. I don't need any of this, so I'm gonna erase it simply from my with the delete key. I'm gonna go to model space, and over here I can start creating layers. So using the regular text command and so on. But I already have my layers. So of course you can open the layer palette, right, with the LA shortcut. So, and you will have your layers over here. So of course, I already created my layers, but of course, if you don't know how to create layers, you simply click this icon like that, and then rename your layer and change the colors as you wish, right? So, but again, this is not about creating layers. This is about creating our custom tool or command to import our layers. So since I already have that, let me open it, right? So let me open my drawing that I have my layers. So I call it LA layers, right? So let me open it so you can have a better look. And these are all my layers. So you can see it's simply a text, right? So it's a text piece of text that it's on the correct layer with a line for graphic purposes. So now look what happened now. So I'm gonna close this drawing one, right? Because here is where you're gonna um, rename your layers, create new layers, and so on. So once you do that, I'm gonna close this, and of course you need to save it in a location that you're gonna remember, right? So I'm gonna say no because again, I already have my layers over here. So once you have that, your layers set up, let's move to over here because this is a drawing where everything is on layer 0. As you can see, I have no layers. You can see my layer palette. There is only the layer 0. So over here, let's again open the command macros like this. And over here, AutoCAD recommended us many different tools or macros, but I'm gonna reuse those, right? Because I I think this is a more important command to import my layers. So to do that, I'm gonna right click and then say command macro editor. So once I do that, I'm gonna simply rename my new command. In this case, I'll call it lazy import layers, like so. And then once I do that, I'm going to expand the macro option. So once I have that, I can start adding my code over here. Of course, you can add a description over here. So for instance, this command import layers and current drawing or something like that. That's all up to you. So, but the important part here is on the macro code, right? How we're gonna start building this custom command that is gonna help us to quickly bring up all of our layers to any existing drawing. So first we need to start with this piece of code that I'm gonna copy um, from the post that I did on my Patreon, right? So I'm gonna paste it like this. And basically here, this code is to cancel any running command with CC, and then I need to purge the layers on this existing drawing. Because why, right? Because if we are trying to import our standard layers, we don't want to conflict them with the layers that already exist in this drawing. We don't need them anymore. So that's why I'm gonna purge the layers first. So I'm gonna accept that with OK, just to test it, because we don't want to start writing this huge code that in the end have a mistake, and then we're gonna try to um, figure out where is the mistake, and it's gonna be a waste of time. So that's why we like to go in small steps. So this, let's test it. So let's click OK. All right. So let's see what happened when I use it now. So let's import layers. So let's click on it. All right. So it looks like nothing happened. However, let's open the command line with F2, like so. And then we can see that the purge command was called to purge my layers. So that's good so far. There are no errors or something. So let's keep moving to wrap up this awesome lazy import layers command. So let's go back to the command macros and right click and command macro editor. So I'm going to expand the macro. And what we need next is the path to the path where our layers, the drawing, right, was stored. So in order to do that, I'm gonna copy the next piece of code that again it's on my Patreon for people who have access to it. So I'm gonna paste it with Control V. And this next piece of code is to insert my layers, right? And over here, we need to change our folder path. So how do we do that? Well, for that, let's go to the Windows Explorer. So let me open the Windows Explorer. It's right here. So let's go over here and expand this path by clicking on it. All right. And then we're going to copy that. So right click and copy. So then once we have that, let's go back to the command macro, and where it says your layers folder path here. So that's what we're going to select, and we're going to paste our path, right? So right click or Control V. So once we did that, we pasted our path where our layer is. So the next thing is to replace our layers file name here. So let's go back again to the Windows Explorer folder. So this is our name for our layers. So I'm gonna press F2 to, or you can also right click and say rename, right? So more options. Where is the rename option over here? Okay, doesn't matter, but you can click and then of course copy that. So that's the name of your layers file. So I'm gonna copy that and go back here, and then so let's select again your layer file name here. So let's select that part, and again with Control V, I'm gonna paste like so. All right. So finally, when we use macros in AutoCAD, it's important to change this slash over here with the other one. So let's do that. So let's erase that and change it with this other one. So let's do that really quick for all of the slashes. So let's do that so that it can work with this macro command inside AutoCAD. So let me select that, change it, erase it, change it. For the other one, this is good. All right. So far, what we're simply doing is inserting our drawing that has all of our layers. So that's the path. And then we're saying with DC to cancel, because we don't want to physically insert this drawing. We only want to insert the layers so we can reuse it, right? So far, let's quickly test that to see that if we don't have any problems, right? So we can quickly fix it. Let's click OK. All right. So let's go over here to the layers palette. We still don't have any layers, right? We only have layer 0. So let's see what happens when we do lazy import layers now. So click. Looks like nothing happened. Let's open or expand the command line with F2, and we can see what happened here. So we are inserting uh, the layers. So it says ignore, and it looks like there are no errors so far. So let's go to the layer manager, and boom, we see that we have all of our layers already in this current drawing. Isn't that great? So let's keep moving now, because this code is not ready yet. Even though we already have our layers over here, there is gonna be a problem. And do you know what it is? Let me show you. So what happens if I want to update my layers over here? So let's say, for instance, I would like to add a layer to my layers drawing, right? So for instance, I'm gonna add one layer, let's say sidewalk text. So I'm gonna copy this, right, with the CO shortcut. So nothing fancy. I'm just simply copying that. So I'm gonna add. I want to add a new layer to my layer drawing, right? For instance, a sidewalk text, like so. So you're gonna see the problem now. So I'm adding a layer like so. So I'm gonna create a layer, right? To on the layer palette, I'm gonna go and create a new layer by clicking this icon and say a sidewalk text. So I'm gonna change the color to maybe something like cyan, really quick, like so. So then finally I'm gonna select my objects and place it on this new layer that I created, a sidewalk text. And the reason why we're doing this, right, if you wonder like why we need to physically write a text with our layer, is because if by accident you purge this drawing, you will lose all of your layers already, and you don't want that to happen. So this is the trick to, even though if I purge this drawing right now, my layers are still gonna be intact here because I'm using it. So that's the trick. So, all right, so I create that. So let me show you the issue with our custom tool that is not finalized yet. So I created this new layer, a sidewalk text. So I'm gonna save this drawing with Control S, right? And let's go back to our drawing, right? Um, so look what happened now. Let's say I want to import my layers again because I need this new layer, the a sidewalk text, right? So right now you can see over here, I don't have the a sidewalk text, right? So let's go back and use our lazy import layers. So let's click on it. And then let's go back to our layers manager. And we can see that still we don't have the 8 sidewalk text. Why, right? The command is not working now. It's not importing this new layer. And the reason being is because we already imported our layers in the first time. So AutoCAD is not recognizing again the new LA layers. So the way we can avoid that is by first purging this drawing. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's go back here on the command macros, and let's right click and let's click command macro editor and expand the macros again. So let's add a piece of code for that. So let me copy over here from my second screen from the Patreon page. And I'm gonna paste this right after the purge layer. So I'm gonna paste it there with Control V, like so. And this new piece of code is simply to purge blocks, the block LA layers. So basically your layers drawing. because it's bringing AutoCAD is bringing it to this drawing as a block. So that's why we need to purge it, so we can still gain some of those new layers, right? So that's what we did: purge block LA layers. So that's the name of your drawing where your layers is. Nothing fancy. So let's test it, right, before we do anything else. So let's click OK. And so let's go back over here on the layers. We can still see that we don't have the new layer, a sidewalk text. So let's see what happened now when I use my lazy import layers again. So let's click on it. And let's go back to the layer property. And boom, a sidewalk text is now showing up. So that means that our code is better now, right? Because whenever we create or add a new layer to our LA layer drawing, AutoCAD is gonna recognize it and it's gonna immediately add it to any drawing. Basically, you can see it over here, the layer where I added the cyan color. So that's awesome so far. But this piece of text, or I mean, sorry, this piece of command still is missing something else, and that is uh, so that is let's go back to our command macros. That is a way to AutoCAD let us know that, hey, you imported your layers already, right? Because right now there is no way to know if our layers were imported or not. So that's why we need to add the next piece of code that I'm gonna uh, so let me go over here, command macros again, right click, command macro editor, expand the macro, and we're gonna add the final piece of code. So let me copy that one from my second screen, copy, where of course all of this is going to be posted in our Patreon as well on our YouTube member community post. So you can copy and paste from that, or you can follow along in the video. So the next piece of code is I'm going to paste it with Control V, like so. And this piece of code is simply so AutoCAD can let us know, hey, you're good, you imported your layers, right? So that's a nice way for us to know. So your layers were imported to this drawing. Of course, you can change this to whatever you feel is better for you, but that works for me. So I'm gonna click OK and simply test my command one more time. So for that, let me open a brand new drawing. So let's open a brand new drawing to test it. So let's say I have this drawing with layers. So only these few layers. So let's go to our lazy import layers. So let's click on it. And boom, AutoCAD is telling us your layers were imported to this drawing. Awesome. I can simply click OK or simply press the Enter key on my keyboard. So if I go to my layers now, boom, all of my layers are showing up there. So this is how I stopped creating layers in AutoCAD. Isn't that great? So what do you think, guys? So it's time to go to the chat and chat with you about this new and awesome command that we just created today in AutoCAD, right? So yeah, what do you think, guys? So let's go to the chat now and see what you guys think. We have 22 people connected still. That's awesome. I hope you guys, those 22 people, learned something useful today. And like I stopped creating layers, you could stop also, right? You should, because why? You are wasting time creating new layers each time you are working on a different drawing, right? Yeah. So let's see what people are saying on the chat before we wrap up today's live stream. And I hope you learned something useful today. Yeah. So we have 24 people connected on the chat. That's awesome, guys, that you are still here with me today. We learned something nice today, a new tool, a new command to save time in AutoCAD. And let's see what you guys think about this command, right? Do you think it's gonna help you time? Say yes or no on the chat. Yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah, so let me know because I use this tool every day when I work at the office, the architecture office, right, where I work. Um, so yeah, so let me see what people have to say about this tool. Do you think it's gonna save you time? Do you think it's not gonna save you time? Um, so we have I think you are um, a new fan of the show also because I think it's the first time I'm seeing you. You're saying 100%. It's Doof Dude. What's your real name? It's Doof Dude. Anyway, um, so what do you think, guys? Before we wrap up today's live stream, I like to read some of your comments and have that interaction with you guys. Or if you have any questions or suggestions, right, to maybe improve the show or, a topic maybe that you want to do a live stream, yeah, let me know. Just let me know in the comments and I'll be able to do that. Um, all right. So let me. So we have 25 people connected. That's awesome, guys. We keep to increase this community um, with new live shows each Sunday, right? Each Sunday we show up here with a new live stream regarding AutoCAD. And again, for people who are new, my name is Irving, and I I show up each Sunday at 10 a.m. right here with a new AutoCAD live show to create, in this case, custom tools that can save you some time when you work in AutoCAD. All right. Okay, so if you guys don't have questions, then I just want to say that have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'm going to see you here next Sunday at 10 a.m. with a new AutoCAD live show. All right. So thank you guys for being here today with me, and I hope to see you next week.